So really what they want when you've experienced that they want the label, what they really want is clarity about what's up. They don't really want the label. Nobody does. And if you just believe that as a universal law of humanity, that nobody wants a label, it'll pause you before labeling and diagnosing, because that's not what they want. What they want is the clarity. And so if you offer the clarity, that's going back to the skill set that I mentioned earlier. Clarity means you understand what's going on, you understand what's gone wrong, and you understand what to do about it. That's what they're looking for. So that means you get to hot seat yourself. Do you have those answers? Most of the time we don't. So it's easy to just lop a diagnosis across the room then, because then at least it shuts the conversation down. And that's what judgment does. It shuts the conversation down. Nobody's open after that. It's been locked and loaded. And when we get to the diagnosis, when you're saying, assess insofar as what you can treat, you heard that from me. That's absolutely true. Because I also had this question about diagnosing, back in the 90s when I was in school. I was like, what do you mean? Do I diagnose? Do I not diagnose? And that's what the president of my school said. You diagnose insofar as what you can treat. And I kept repeating that over and over again. And I'm like, okay, I got the phrasing, but what does it mean? And what it means is I have the information about how the body's designed, and I also am deeply skilled at when it goes wrong. So I'm knowledgeable and I'm skilled about when it goes wrong. And so I'm the bridge between the two. Because when it goes wrong, curtain number 3, you've heard me call it, my patient is in front of me. They're scared. They're in pain. They're not hearing me because their pharmacy's got them drunk up here with other listening apparatus, it seems. So what I get to do then is use my information to fill in the gap between where they want to be, which is pain-free, and where I want them to be, and where they currently are, and what's in the middle, and then what am I going to do about that? When you can bring clarity about the information that's being presented in their body, and also you're so calm, not arrogant, not agitated, not hopeful, calm, like this is what's needed. I know exactly what to do. And you've literally hot seated yourself with that information. They'll feel your assurance. When you're self-assured, they'll feel self-assured. They'll feel your self-assurance, even if they're still a little freaked out. That's what they want more than the diagnosis. And when you say, I think it's your knee, I think it's this, I think it's that, I'm going to urge you to stretch beyond that, because your thinking is not where the answer is. The body is going to tell you what's going on, which is an open form of listening that doesn't come from a book. That's advanced skill to let the body tell you. And when the body's telling you, the body's telling them. And when you can be the translator, they're experiencing your clarity, experiencing your clarity. And that takes practice. So those are the 3 things I would offer you. Did that support you? Okay, good. Great. We have time for another question. Anybody have another question? I got an answer. I always got an answer. I always have information to share. Anybody have any other questions I can support you with today? Gary, coming for your mute button.
Yeah, this is new about the processors. So could you just, within time, briefly run over what those 4 are?
Yeah, briefly, I will.
Okay.
And also, I'll share with you
Yes.
that we do talk about them. I do talk about them in other training, and I also talk about them in our leadership, which is also on offer on Mondays. So it's a leadership concept. It's not a communication concept, although it definitely fits in the realm of communication for sure. And it was game changing for me when I learned this. So I absolutely teach all of my Schatz method practitioners because it was game changing for me. It's game changing for them, and we get to get on with it. So the 4 processors, very briefly, are, I need to say this, while they're wildly different, they're also interdependent, just like us, because it's
Mm.
us, guys, right?
Mm.
Like it's us. So you might
Mhm.
recognize that you're one or more, and you are. And the goal is, while we all have a primary and a secondary, the goal is to be equally balanced in all 4 so that no one can actually tell. If you come to a training with me and it's so clear to me what your primary is, I know there's room for growth for you because you're only operating 25% of your capability of communicating and listening. So the goal in leadership is to flex, we call it, into all four quadrants, where literally in one conversation, you're like, I don't know, were they this kind of processor or no, they were that kind of, no, wait a minute. So you can't quite tell because they flexed into all of them. And that's the sign of a good
Mhm.
communicator because that means that they're reaching every single person that's listening. If they only come out one way, you know this actually. I'm going to answer your question, Gary, but you guys know this.
Mhm.
You listen to someone talk and you're like, oh my God, the sound of their voice. Oh my God, they just like just take a breath already, or whatever your complaint is about the way they talk. Or maybe they're like super quiet and they're super monotone and they don't really look and they kind of look down. You're like, could you please have some confidence and speak up? Like whatever your thing is when you're listening to someone is the indicator that they haven't flexed. Because and those are sort of effects about the way you communicate. It's not the best example I could have given, but if you recognize that someone always sounds hard and you never hear their heart, they haven't flexed because those are two
Mhm.
very different processors. If someone's only
Mhm.
giving you data points, only giving you outlines, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, and they never make it fun or tell a story, they haven't flexed. And that's
Mhm.
what I'll share with you. One operating system is very story, very fun, very all over the place. And like you're like a moth to a flame. But you walk away from that conversation, you're like, did I learn anything? Not
Mhm.
sure. The next type of operating system is really compassionate. They feel like you're by a warm campfire and everything's good. And you walk away from that conversation and you're like, actually, that felt nice, but nothing shifted because they're not going to
Mhm.
be the type of person that's going to shift you into motion, right? The third type of processor is very analytic, very in order, very checkboxy. They love bullet points. Everything's color coded and detailed and organized, but you won't feel their heart while they're talking. So, like, yeah, you gave me the data, but Jesus, I'm a human here, right? That's the mistake that that operating system makes. And then the fourth type is the one who can see very big picture and sees all things all the time. And that's great because they will definitely get you to win the game. They'll see the treatment plan as it's rolling out, but they will often come across as like being over somebody or beyond them, like leaving people in the dust, steamrolling over them because they're
Mhm.
already at the end zone while you're still like tying up your sneakers. So pros and cons to all of them. There's no one that's better. It's not a hierarchy. It moves like clockwise and counterclockwise. And the idea is to have a balance of all of them. You want to make it light and fun, not like it's a party when someone's in pain, but you want to be
Mhm.
like, yeah, I get it. I so get it. And then really listen with heartfelt empathy, but don't get stuck there so that all they do is talk the whole time and you didn't get anything done. And you want to be organized in this happens before that happens before this happens because this is how the body's wired. But you don't want to be so militant about it that you forgot there's a human in front of you. And you want to see the big picture. How do you win the game? How do you get the
Mhm.
treatment plan results for you and them? And then not rush them in the process. You want to be all four. Always. It's a skill that's highly worth learning and developing. And again, that's why I teach it in so many places. Okay,
Thank you.
Gary, was that good? Did you get what you needed?
Yeah, that was
Okay,
very good.
beautiful. Operating systems for the win. All right, my friends, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for contributing to another rich conversation. If this training was valuable for you and you're here on YouTube, please do let me know that so I know what content to bring you next. And next month, we're starting with a new course in our club community. So we'll be starting, you'll see the newsletters and the email invites if you're on our list, and you'll also see the content that's coming up. And I'm very excited. It's going to be a powerful month. September. We have 5 Tuesdays. There's no mistake there. Okay, babes. Until I see you next time, have a great rest of your day and continue to do amazing work in the world. Bye for now.